This series was funded by great viewers just like you over on Patreon. Check out the description or end of the video to hear how you can take part in making the show even more amazing. Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here, and welcome to another episode of Which Ninja, a series that looks at media's most popular shinobi to see which are good and which are bad.
So, what hardcore ninja are we talking about today?
Spy from Team Fortress 2.
No, seriously, what are we talking about today?
Spy.
Look, I know we've been the rules of the show from time to time, but come on, man. Next thing you're gonna tell me is Dr. Wily's a ninja.
It's time to give up and get back inside the game.
Are you joking? This is a minor setback. I don't give up that easily. Because I'm a ninja.
Huh?
Here's a smoke bomb.
Okay, one, that is not funny. And two, are you seriously trying to tell us that the sharp-dressed, hard-smoking French spy is a ninja?
Well, that is the question the patrons wanted us to look into. On the surface, it would seem kinda stupid to consider Spy being one-to-one with Garden Variety Ninja. But to be absolutely fair, there's some defining features of the Spy that are completely ninja in nature, like...
Okay, I see where you're going with this. You're talking about the optional equipment and gear for Spy.
Not really, but...
No, I got this. Let's get the easy one out of the way. The Conoverse Kunai. It's been said numerous times on the show, so I won't go into a ton of detail on it, but long story short, where popular media portrays kunais being a predominantly thrown weapon, traditionally, their primary use for the ninja was to cut holes in walls to see or hear past them, and sometimes to put holes into people. Then you've got the spy's Rogue's Robe, which is a reference to the shinobi's Kusari Katabira. Just like it appears in-game, ninja would utilize this thin shirt of chainmail under their howdy not only as added protection during missions where combat was inevitable, but was actually more commonly used for climbing and jumping weight training. Think Dragon Ball Z if you need a point of reference. Next you have the Hong Kong Cone, which is obviously a reference to the straw-woven Kasa hat. This was one of the Shinobi no Rokubu, 6 critical items that were believed to be on the ninja's person at all times. These included the aforementioned Kasa hat, Kaginawa grappling hook, In-no medicine box, Sekihitsu charcoal or clay pen, a Hinade flint box, and finally, a Sanjaku Tenugi, which despite its cool name was basically just a towel. But that's a really generalized theory because technically any class can wear the Hong Kong Cone. However, the No Mercy mask was an exclusive to the Spy and an obvious reference to Hanya masks. For the life of me though, I will never understand why ninja have such a close association with this particular No mask. Sure, it's terrifying as heck to look at, but the Hanya mask, according to traditional No and Kabuki, is a symbol of a female character turned demon either by rage, vanity, or revenge. I understand that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but I'm not sure it would make the most terrifying surprise to a guard. But that isn't to say that ninjas never use masks to strike fear into the hearts of their enemies. The Iga Ryu Ninja Museum actually has on display a set of 4 masks that local legend Fujiwara Senpo was said to have used at Mount Mikuni in Iga, at least according to the Taiheki. These 4 masks represented 4 demons of natural disasters. Kaki, demon of fire, Suiki, demon of water, Doki, demon of earth, and Ongyoki, the wizard demon, able to become invisible. Isn't that more an air thing? Well, either way, it's physical proof that ninjas certainly utilize horrific-looking masks to intimidate their foes, and to be completely honest, the consistent styles of these 4 masks are strikingly similar to the Hanya mask, especially in the eyes and the mouth. So that pretty much wraps everything up, right?
Not quite, my dude. What you mentioned wasn't wrong. In fact, it actually does help solidify spies being closer to a traditional ninja. But there's far more than stereotypical appearances that make a ninja, or even a spy for that matter. Based on the research that I've done on Spy and how he's played, it's not his appearance, but his kit and his playstyle that makes him more of a ninja than people realize. Because based on tactics I've seen players use and tips given in tutorial and guide videos, the techniques that those players use are literally textbook examples of old techniques shinobi would use, with one of the most basic being the leap stab. Spy players will perch themselves above their intended targets, and when the time is just right, will jump off their perch and right before contact, hit crouch, which activates the necessary conditions for a backstab. The reason why this technique is so successful for spy players comes from the fact that almost no one looks up in this game. Everyone is too concerned about what's directly in front of them. Starting to sound familiar?
Yeah, that's the same logic behind another technique we've discussed a bunch of times on this show, the Tanuki Gakure no Jutsu. A technique that specifically exploited the average human's habit of not focusing vision any higher than a perpendicular 45-degree angle. At its core, it was a superb technique to stay hidden, but it was also a good vantage point for the ninja looking for an easy sneak attack.
But that's not the only textbook ninja hiding technique I've seen spy players use. In his How It Feels series, YouTuber Lazy Purple explains how while crouching and being stealthed in front of or behind a small structure, for some reason has gotten him out of tight spot after tight spot.
See this spot? There's something special about this architecture. As a spy, if you can find a slightly elevated platform, hide next to it. Don't believe me? Watch these clips. Alright, in this clip, it's painfully obvious that I'm a spy, but it takes this medic a second to figure it out. This medic starts owning me, so I make my getaway. I find my little spot, and he proceeds to check almost every inch of space around me, except where I actually am. It's almost as if there's something in his brain preventing him from checking this one little spot.
Well, Lazy, you're not wrong. In fact, this technique has been around for hundreds of years, known as the Uzura Gakure no Jutsu, or quail technique. Named from the defensive posture of the animal, when a ninja found themselves in a tight spot and needed to disappear, they would ball themselves up, slow their breathing, and cuddle right up to a small amount of cover that they could find.
So basically the exact same thing he's doing in his video. That makes sense because, yeah, the human brain doesn't usually take in a hiding in or around a foot-high wall into account when pursuing someone. Usually the average person would look for cover that would be more human-sized.
But even if you put aside all the player-made techniques used to hide and bring down targets, believe it or not, the biggest connection I've researched between Spy and TF2 and Ninja in real life comes simply from Spy's core abilities. See, Spy gets around the battlefield in one of two ways: his trusty disguise kit and his high-tech watch that lets him cloak. When you're disguised as the enemy player, it's not enough to simply look like them, you have to act like them. A spy disguised as a scout who isn't moving erratically or disguised as a medic who isn't healing will get found out immediately and get put down in a matter of seconds. And as for the cloaking watch, you not only have to be mindful of how much time you have left to be stealth, but you also must find a good place to hide from the enemy team lest spy checkers flush you out in the middle of the field. But generally speaking, you have two modes of infiltration: hiding in plain sight and hiding from sight. Now, in retrospect, let me introduce you to the Bansen Shukai, a preservation effort of scrolls upon scrolls that contain all the hidden techniques of the Koga and Iga ninja since the 1400s. But I affectionately refer to it as the big-ass Bible of ninja, cause I mean, jeez. But anyway, starting in Volume 8, the Bansen Shukai lines out to a T these same two concepts of stealth techniques in the forms of Yojutsu and Injutsu. First, let's start off with Yojutsu. Yojutsu is defined as the overt form of stealth, to infiltrate the enemy in plain sight with elaborate plans of ingenuity. And the following 3 volumes gives a lot of examples on how to do this. One such example listed in the Yonin Scroll is the concept of Shihogami, or the various hairstyles a ninja would need to prepare depending on who they were impersonating or where they were going. Examples include dressing like a Shuke monk, Yamabushi monk, Negoromono soldiers, and women, all of which have drastically different hairstyles. That's the physical. But it outlines not only the physical requirements for successful Yojutsu, but also the mental. In point 2 of the 6 points on laying plans, the text states, whether you disguise yourself as someone with a trade or just a basic impersonation, you should be skilled at the art of whatever you're doing to disguise yourself as. Examples include ninjas dressing as monks to be extremely knowledgeable of Buddhist practice and traditions, as well as being able to play the shakuhachi flute skillfully.
So basically in the same vein as a spy disguised as a sniper needing to act like one, predominantly hiding in the backline and pretending to be scoping.
Exactly. In fact, considering the 3 volumes of Yonin focus more on behavior and less on appearance, it's by far more critical to behave like who you're trying to impersonate than looking like them. Moving on to Volume 11, the Inin Scrolls explain the concept of Injutsu, or the covert operations of the ninja. Pretty self-explanatory stuff with examples like hiding under floorboards or infiltrating through gutters of waterways, but about 10 pages in, there's a section titled 8 Points on the Art of Infiltrating by Taking Advantage of the Enemy's Negligence that holds a few ninja rules of thumbs you spy players may be familiar with. In the daytime, go to where there are many people and where it's noisy, while at night, go to where it's quiet. While observing a guardhouse, if you hear the guards speak loudly, engaging in friendly chat, having a drinking party, singing, etc., it's often because only young and inexperienced guards are working on that shift without old and experienced ones. This is exactly where you should get in. Do not hesitate. Now, a soldier's spirit is keenest in the morning, by noonday it's begun to flag, and in the evening his mind is bent only on returning to camp.
Sun Tzu said that, and I'd say he knows a little more about fighting than you do, pal, because he invented it.
If you're a spy player, you know exactly what this means. An enemy player not engaged in the mid-fight is more likely to be checking for you, stealth or otherwise, but in the heat of the moment, when that heavy medic team is in the middle of the field or that sniper is trying to get a headshot on high-priority targets in the mid-fight, that is the spy's time to shine. Because even if you do come out of cloaking close enough for them to hear you, chances are they're too preoccupied to pay attention to their surroundings and wind up good as dead. Any good spy knows the best way to rack up multi-kills is to find a cluster of enemies that are too negligent of their surroundings to turn on and stop them.
Also, yeah, inexperienced players are going to be absolutely easy pickings for the spies. They'll have little knowledge about his long list of tricks, such as the jump or 180 stab. So do you really think our international man of mystery really is a ninja?
I don't really think it's so much a matter of is he a ninja, but rather could the understanding of ninja techniques benefit a spy player, which yes, it very much can. Sure, there are a few cosmetic items here and there that give the spy a more ninja feel to him, but above all else, he plays like a ninja, utilizing the same psychological techniques. And you know, the more I think about it, maybe there's something more to be said in regards to the James Bonds and Jason Bournes in popular media. Maybe they too are more ninja than we realize. But that's for another video. For now, thanks for watching everyone, and a huge thank you to all my patrons who support Witch Ninja. You guys kinda left me in a pretty tight spot when you voted on Spy over Ayane or Ash, but it gave me an excuse to look into some brand new ninja principles I've never been able to cover on the show, so thanks for that. And if you want to help support these videos while getting some exclusive benefits like early viewings, voting on topics, or even some one-on-one talks, check out Witch Ninja on Patreon, because without it, I don't think I'd ever be able to get the show off the ground. Also, just really fast, I wanted to leave a quick reminder that I'll be at Con Bravo at the Hamilton Convention Center in Ontario, Canada next weekend from July 27th through the 29th. If you guys are in the area, come swing by and say hi. Otherwise, I'll see you guys here next weekend when Culture Shock makes its grand return to this channel, talking about how God of War 4's cultural clues may have accidentally spoiled the entirety of the franchise's story. But until then, everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.